Hello everyone, I'm Tom Antion and welcome to the show. Jack Thomason is here with us today. He combines 30 years of international business experience as a corporate executive, marketing and sales strategist, and small business entrepreneur. He now focuses on helping dental and medical professionals build their practices using proven practice-building marketing techniques. Jack is a mechanical engineer by trade and holds a master's degree in marketing from Case Western Reserve University. Jack has built a dental practice from scratch in Cleveland, Ohio, and knows what works and what doesn't. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Tom. It's nice to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Now tell us, why do most dental practices struggle?
Well, the main reason is because the dentist, which is normally the owner, they focus all of their time on patient care, and very little time, if any, is spent developing their practice using marketing techniques.
Now, why does a dental practice really need a development strategy?
Well, in former times, it was a lot easier to build a dental practice. You basically
opened your door, put a shingle up, and
yes, you put a sign on the front door, you put your name and a telephone number in the yellow pages, and all worked well. So it was that if you build it, they will come mentality. But that has all changed today, especially with technology.
There's a lot more competition too, right?
There's competition, and the way that people find you now is a lot different than it was even 10 years ago.
That's for sure, and we're going to talk more about that later. Now, in a practice, is there usually anybody that's involved in marketing?
Normally not. If the dental practice, a larger dental practice, if they're I would say greater than $1 million, normally they have better marketing techniques. If you've seen like flying, you see some of the guys that are advertising for cosmetic dentistry, but your typical dentist in your cities does not market and does not really have someone that's dedicated to that.
Well, a lot of people will say, are you a salesperson? And people say, no, I'm not a salesperson. But really the answer is everybody's a salesperson, right? So shouldn't everybody in a dental practice be helping with marketing?
Right. Well, that's a great question, Tom, because I always say that if you're not marketing and selling, you're basically dead, because everyone does. And the point is that every person that works in a dental practice or a medical practice is part of the marketing department. The problem is they don't know that, and they don't even know what marketing is or what they should do to help market the practice.
Well, yeah, but they do fill out a lot of little postcards all day long to remind you to get. I guess that's marketing, but they really don't think of themselves as marketing the practice. They're just doing busy work a lot of times.
That's correct. They think of themselves as reminding the patient to come in for a cleaning exam or reminding the patient. But that is one touch point for the customer, but there's so many more touch points now that
and that's
really
not bringing in any new customers either.
That's correct.
That's just the people you already have. So everybody needs to be marketing in some way, I guess.
That's right.
Now, how did you get involved in the dental business?
Well, after I sold
You're not a dentist, right?
No, I'm not a dentist. I'm an engineer. And although those two professions are fairly close, and because of the dental profession is very technical.
Right.
And I got involved because I sold my manufacturing company, and a good friend of mine who's a periodontist said, can you design implants for me? And I did, and I designed those implants for him. And from that, one thing led to the next, and I got involved in the whole concept of dentistry.
My goodness, yeah. So how did you get into the marketing? I know you went to school for that, but I mean, in school was a lot of general stuff. You've applied this to the dental industry.
Right. Well, I always have enjoyed marketing. So what normally happens is you revert back to what you're passionate about, what you like. And so it was natural for me to go from a technical thing and build marketing around a technical product. And that's really what I'm doing even today.
Well, what are some of the issues that specifically are facing dentists today?
The main issue is patient attraction. Okay, the dentists don't know how to bring a consistent income or revenue stream of new patients
right,
into their practice. And the main reason is there's so much competition, and the fact that younger people are using new methods to identify the type of medical practice they're looking for.
Yeah, and I know I've never gone to the yellow pages. I mean, the yellow pages all around here are holding up desks.
Correct.
people are going online and things, and we're going to get into that in more depth later. And so that's kind of how things have changed. The traditional, what are some of the traditional methods that some dentists are just stuck still using?
Well, like my mother, for instance, my mom is 78 years old. She still would go to the Yellow Pages.
Okay.
But my daughter, who's 14, she would try to look on her iPod to find out, who is in the area. So that's the kind of range.
Oh, boy.
But I would say the majority of the folks still are using put a sign on the dental office, okay?
And hope people drive by.
Hope people drive by, and then put your name in the Yellow Pages. And I don't know what that is, but those are very, very expensive today. And they're hoping that people will come just from those two things alone.
So what are some of the new things that people are doing?
Well, Tom, that's really how you and I came together.
Right.
You kind of opened my whole world when I met you. And from those times, almost 2 years ago, I have totally changed the way I go to market and what I'm doing to help dental and medical professionals.
So tell us some of the things that you're helping dentists do.
Well, some of the more progressive dentists have what's called a static website, which we think of in the web 1.0 world. But what's happened now through blogging, through podcasting, through repositioning material and so forth on the internet, we have moved from a static site to a very interactive way of communicating with the customer. And the whole point is to move a customer from a suspect, if you will, the patient, from just kind of looking to see what kind of practice they're looking for, and you move them along. You move them along and bring them closer into the practice.
Now, I'm sure some dentists are watching this and thinking, oh my God, I've got to become a geek. I don't have time for this. I want to take care of patients. So how can they get into this, put their toes in, get moving along, and can some of it be farmed out to their staff members and maybe bring in some very young staff members to help out with this?
Right. Well, what I recommend is that every practice, even if it's a small practice, has to identify someone in the practice that will be the champion, because many, many times the dentist will not do this. So he at least should say someone,
he or she, of course.
He or she should say or should pick someone in the practice that has a background or a close background that can help.
Or even just younger. Because, all our kids, everybody's grown up with computers, where many of the dentists of my age or older, or your age or older, didn't. So we even use high school kids in our business to help us out because they can pick this stuff up easily.